Good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, and that means it's time for another episode of the Get to Know Her show. Today, I not only have one amazing entrepreneur, I have two awesome ones who happen to be sisters, and you're going to love meeting them. It's going to be a great segment. Before we get started, and I introduce these awesome sisters formally, I wanted to talk to you about what I'm wearing today. When is the last time you put on a dress? I was so excited to put a dress on today. This is a beautiful little dress from Brenda Badome. I love the front. Look at the detail here and lots of room for extra goodies if you need. And I've paired the dress with some funky leggings from my friends at She's Got Legs because I thought that looked kind of fun. But oh my gosh, it's so comfy, this dress. The fabric is cozy, and I'm excited to be wearing a dress. It's been a long time. I have my cowboy boots on with it. I think it totally goes. Feeling good today. Feeling good. I got a little more pink in my hair because I've got some pink competition with one of my guests today. She is rocking the pink hair. You guys are going to love it. Trina and Sarah and Trina Turl. They are the most incredible, fun, awesome sisters. I love them both. I've met them recently in the last couple of years. They are both self-employed. Sarah is a certified mediator and Trina a professional photographer. And I guess you knew they were both self-employed when I did say they were both entrepreneurs. This year, these entrepreneurial sisters decided to start a podcast. It's called Just Push Go. In their podcast, they share their ongoing challenges, successes, and experiences as entrepreneurs. You are going to love their super sister synergy. So let's not wait anymore. Let's bring these sisters on. Here they come, one at a time.
Hey!
Sister number one, sister number two. Yay! And I have to put my earbuds in. I'm so busy showing off my dress. I won't be able to hear you. Oh my
That's okay.
gosh.
I need to adjust my seat.
I love it. We're all level now. Actually, Trina, I love you in the middle too. I was going to put you the two pink hairs on one side, but this works.
Sarah's hair is looking all fancy. It's like,
I love it.
all like
I'm trying to hide the gray.
Oh. That's why I did
need
the
a
pink.
haircut.
I was like, this is a distraction from what's going on up here, but who cares?
Yeah, I'm blocking it with curls today.
If Sandy
love it.
Ronaldo can go gray, we can all go gray.
Yeah. You know, I do get sucked in on Instagram when I look at all these women who have embraced the gray and now they're like, and it looks so nice. I'm just too scared to go there. I'm not ready.
I'm not ready.
Me either.
I like some
No.
color.
Yeah. Yes. We're all about the color. So ladies, I'm so excited to have you here. Your podcast rocks. I love it. I wanted to say I never miss an episode. I'm behind a couple and I feel terrible. But I love your podcast. I love going for walks. What I love about it the most is how honest you are and you just come clean with how it really feels behind the scenes, what's actually going on. And guests relate, listeners relate. You're doing a good service in this world, you guys. I'm telling
thank
you.
you.
It's so good.
It's an extension of the conversations we were already having with each other. So it's nice to share that and, let everyone know they're not alone in those feelings.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I love that. You're taking care of people's mental health and that we need more of that right now. Now, before we get started into the nitty gritty, because I even have a little surprise for Sarah about a word that she said last week that came up in my newsfeed the same night. And I was going to send it to you, Sarah, but I wanted to wait till today. So I got that little surprise coming up. But
Ooh, I love
Sarah has been on our podcast before, which is on our Get to Know Her show before, which is awesome. Trina, this is your first time on. So let's start with you. We want to know, what did little Trina want to be when she grew up?
little Trina wanted to be a paleontologist. I loved dinosaurs then, and I still love them now. So the best part about having kids is that I could re-indulge my passion for dinosaurs.
That's so okay. That was the very last thing I was expecting to come out of your mouth. That's fascinating.
She used to dig in our backyard and pretend she was digging for dinosaurs in our garden.
Yeah, I always hoped I would find something, but I never did.
Wow.
Nothing but carrots.
Nothing but carrots. And did it ever, like, as you got older, did you start thinking, oh, maybe archaeology is something I want to explore? Or
I did. I actually studied classics for a bit at university, and then I was like, oh, maybe I could be the photographer on the digs. And so I thought about that for a while, but then I heard about how like hard the work is. And it's just like really dusty, and it's like really hard to get on as a photographer then. And so I decided to be more practical and just do other photography.
Wow, that's great though that it took you that far along, that it always stayed with you.
Yeah. And like, imagine my joy when I had kids and I forced them to like dinosaurs too. And we got to watch shows like Dinosaur Train and you know, even as an adult, like when we drove out west, my husband and I made sure we stopped at Drumheller and went to the museum there. And I spent the whole time we were in Drumheller with my head down, looking at the ground, because I still haven't given up on finding those dinosaur bones.
Wow.
Yeah.
You will find them.
One day.
You will one day, for sure. Oh my gosh. And Sarah, how about you? The younger sister.
I wanted to be...
by how many months, actually?
Only 18.
By 18, yeah. So I love that.
So
you guys are all...
we're pretty close in age.
I listened to the podcast about Irish twins and Scottish twins. So
I don't know if Scottish twins is a thing. I know we're not Irish twins.
I love that.
We're Turl twins, whatever that is. That's what we are.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Turl twins. So sorry, Sarah, tell us. Little Sarah, what was she dreaming about becoming?
She wanted to make commercials and be a copywriter, actually. Trina spent a lot of our childhood participating in my commercials. When we would brush our teeth at night for bed, they would be toothbrush commercials in the mirror. When we did cereal in the morning, it would be cereal commercials. Trina she was in a lot of my commercials.
I remember that.
Gosh. Okay, this is all coming full circle.
Took forever to brush our teeth because we'd just be like doing the angles and
I love it
because we enjoyed flicking. You know when you brush the back of your teeth and like our poor mom flicking it all over the mirror. So that was part of it.
That's great. And you know what's interesting? This has come full circle because when Trina was starting her photography business, were you not the model for most things for Trina?
When I was at school for photography. Well, and Sarah was in advertising, so
right.
We went to college both at Sheridan at the same time, so we were roommates and we were project mates on every project.
Yeah, just about.
we're Turl twins. We did everything together.
Yeah.
That's great. I love it. And growing up as kids, so where did you grow up?
North Bay, Ontario.
North Bay, Ontario.
Yeah, on the shores of Lake Nipissing.
Yeah. And do you both speak French?
A little
bit?
We both did French immersion. I think I did French a bit longer than Sarah did, but both my kids are in French immersion.
I did it all the way to grade 12.
Did you? Okay. I think I was one credit short from the certificate, so... But my French is being refreshed because my kids are in French. So I'm relearning a lot.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was it like growing up in North Bay? Because I just want to know, you guys are, I think about 10 years younger than I am. And I grew up in Oakville, which was like small town. Well, maybe we're somewhere in there. You look so young. Both of you. But so Oakville was a small town, right? But we had our all ages clubs that we went to. It was all about like Friday, Saturday nights, like where's the dance, where's the party, that kind of thing. So I would say from 14 until I moved out of the house, I was never home on a Friday or Saturday night. So I'm just wondering, and then as I got older, of course, it was going to Toronto, going to clubs in Toronto, that kind of thing. I'm just wondering, as two girls growing up in North Bay, what was the scene like? What was the teenage
it was
party
very
scene like
different
for you guys?
We had very different teenage experiences. I mean, Trina and I lived very different teenager lives.
Oh, okay.
Trina was in the Latin
we weren't
club,
going out with each other. Yeah,
okay, you weren't hanging together.
No,
we were not friends in high school.
No,
at all.
Okay, so tell us, Trina, what were your weekends like in high school? Do you remember?
Well, I had a job at McDonald's, and so if I wasn't working, then I don't know. I had a pretty small group of friends, and we would just like hang out and do dumb stuff together. Like, I don't know, like go and play in kids' playgrounds and like just like whatever we could to occupy ourselves. But we did a lot of stupid stuff.
Yeah. I love it. And Sarah, what about you? What were you guys all getting up to?
I think I was more quintessential Northern Ontario. I did also have a job.
Spicier teenage years.
Yeah. But a little more drinking on the beach, drinking in parks, drinking, going
in the bush,
going in the bush, going to dances and bush parties. So kind of like you, only in the bush.
Yeah, I love it. I wish I'd known you guys then, because I have to tell you, that's what some of my fondest memories are like. When I was in high school, like going to visit a friend who was outside of my town and having their experience with them. So, and I love that. Like I had a couple of friends in Newmarket, and it was all like bush parties and stuff, right? And it was so cool, like just to experience these different. Do
you want me to tell you a story of the time I brought a friend to experience North Bay?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is not an indictment on North Bay. North Bay is a fantastic town. Our parents are still there. They're on the lake. It's a beautiful place to live. But I brought a college friend home, and we went to the bar, and they had a contest that night on the craziest thing you do for, I think it was $100. And the first person went up and was like, I'm going to lick the bathroom floor. Was it? No, it was a urinal, whatever. And my boyfriend at the time, my friend was like, this is horrific. And my boyfriend was like, oh, depends where you lick. So I was like, no. So first guy licked the bathroom floor. Second guy, I guess they sort of told them in advance, said, I'm going to shave my junk with no water. And so they handed him like a disposable razor. So he could start shaving his body.
Wow.
And the third guy said, well, I'm going to walk you all. I'm going to lick the bathroom floor, and I'm going to pull off my own toenails and eat them.
Oh my God.
My friend never came back.
Oh my God. That is so funny. Okay.
Yeah, and the toenail guy didn't win.
You didn't win. The standards are high in North Bay.
It was based on applause, and the guy that shaved himself had more friends at the bar, I guess.
Wow.
That is what shaped who I am. Experiences like that.
You know what you need to do with that is you got to submit that to SNL and see if they'll do a whole. You could be making money off of these North Bay stories.
It's a great town. I have so many great memories. We grew up on the beach, so we just every day in bathing suits, and we're very lucky we got to grow up there. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I used to sell jewelry to a store called Pearls.
It's still there.
That's yeah.
What was last time we went there? Yeah.
Yeah. God, that's great. You guys must miss your mom and dad right now, eh? And not being
Yeah, we do.
up there.
Before the
Yeah.
pandemic, I think we saw them at least once a month, maybe a little, around that. So, yeah, it's
Wow.
been really strange not seeing them so often.
Yeah. So I think, this pandemic, it's hard on everybody for different reasons. And Sarah, well, if for people who don't know, the three of us are part of a group of women, like a networking group, and we're all in the same mastermind, which is a lot of fun. So we all consult each other on our business stuff. And anyway, we were talking about different words that resonated last week. And Sarah, you brought up the word languishing. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I'd read an article about it and it hit. And
did it?
Yeah, I was like, that's exactly it. I couldn't put my finger on what the word was, because I've been incredibly lucky through this pandemic. We're safe, we're secure, still able to work. We've been very, very lucky. So I've been sort of beating myself up like I shouldn't really be feeling anything, because not feeling anything, but like I have nothing to complain about in this pandemic. Mm-hmm. And yet I still am living this life where I'm like, nah, a lot of days I don't have. And so when someone said, oh, I read this article, it said languishing. I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm just stuck. And it hit.
That's amazing. So when you were talking about that, it was so funny. It was like pretty much just our meeting ended, and I went on to my Instagram, and my friend tuned in with Tiffany, who's also been on the show. She's a doctor, and she posted languishing verb, a name for the blah you're feeling, the void between depression and flourishing, the absence of well-being. It can dull your motivation and focus, and it may be the dominant emotion of 2021.
It's 2021's pivot.
Yeah, like forget the color of the year. This is the word of the year. Yeah.
Maybe that's why Pantone picked a gray.
Could be.
To go with that yellow. Yeah.
That's right. But it is so true. And I'm so happy that you brought up the word and that it flashed in my face again, because I think it is an important word. And I think that, even for me, I notice I have this cycle during the week where Mondays I'm like I'm doing writing for people. So I'm trying to get all my writing done on the Monday. And then Tuesday's the show. And I'm so excited because I get to dress up and I get to talk to amazing women. And then Wednesday it starts to drop, right? And then by Thursday, Friday, I'm just tired and I'm kind of like, oh, I wish something would motivate. I need something to inspire me. And it's like this cycle over and over and over again. And so I just wondered, like, what for both of you, like, what's your experience been like with keeping the business going, with getting excited about things? I mean, we are picking up off of each other's energy, but it's certainly not the same as being in each other's company. So Trina, let's start with you. What are you doing to kind of keep it going besides dyeing your hair pink, which is awesome?
Well, that's a big pick me up, because it's kind of a simple way of doing some self-care, but so I've got 2 kids home right now, and I feel kind of like every time I get some momentum going up, they shut the schools down. So I feel like I've just been kind of like knocked off my seat constantly. So it's been really hard. And right now I'm having a hard time motivating myself to do anything. But so I'm just kind of, trying to do something small every day just to keep inching forward. And I have some things I'm really excited about. Like I'm working on a new collection for Cleo and Fox with a graphic designer, but it's hard to just keep going every day and want to do anything. So I'll admit I spend a fair amount of time lying on the couch. Yeah. And then I'll get up and I'll do a little bit of work, and then the kids will come. And my biggest thing right now is I make sure every day I get out and go for a walk. And that's sort of what keeps me on an even keel, is making sure that I have that time outside. I've discovered, like, through the pandemic just how much I need that. Yeah. So right now I'm doing it with the kids, but we do it every day after school. We're out the door.
Oh, that's so great. And
Yeah.
How about you, Sarah? What's happening in your world with this?
Well, it's vegetable garden season time, so I do a lot of, I'm like Trina, a lot of outside. Yeah. But really it's connecting and talking. It's Trina motivates me. It's actually why we started calling it's why we started the podcast. It's why we called it Just Push Go, because I was holding on to, it was my website redesign. I was like, it was all done. I just had to tell the developer to hit go. And I was holding back and I couldn't figure out why. And Trina and I were like, blah, 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 like we do. And she went, well, just push go on it. Like, just don't be a ding dong. So we were like, ooh, just push go. So I did just push go, and the world did not fall apart. My website went up, and no one died, and everything's great. And so what motivates me is talking and I think being honest. We had an episode where we talked about how I had an ugly cry, because right now I'm at the kitchen table. I'm not going into my office space. And so I get motivated by talking to other people. And honestly, what motivates me is being honest about languishing and not being okay, but then also the win. So, and connecting with other people who are feeling the same way, because then we have those connections, we have those conversations. And then I get off the phone. I'm like, if they can push through, I can push through. And then I push through, probably not 100%, but I'm still pushing through more. So for me, it really is that weird connecting, even if it's just text messages or whatever. It's knowing that I'm not alone in this. Yeah. So
that's great. And that's so funny. I have an asterisk here, ugly crying, because that was one of my my favorite episodes you guys did. And oddly enough, I listened to it on the Monday after a weekend where there was some ugly crying. And I was just like, this is so great. You know, I mean, nobody can do what we're all doing without having a meltdown or a breakdown, and the thing about it as well is we're all on new territory now. Like, not only are we not seeing each other, but the language has changed, even the way that we present ourselves, and storytelling, and not selling to people, and being of service instead of, you know, it's this whole new way, which is a way better way, but we need to adjust to that. We need to see how that works for our businesses. So yeah, I think it's really great that you guys are so upfront and honest with the emotional roller coaster of what's going on, right? Like,
well, the positive vibes only. Like, it's nice to have good vibes only, but like, it's just not realistic. And if you're spending all your time chasing good vibes only, you're not being fair to yourself and letting yourself feel through it. So yeah, we try to have good energy and good vibes and positivity, but we also are trying to be honest, because I'm not going to get through this by faking my feelings. I'm going to get through it by feeling them.
Yeah.
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 I think through our emotions, it's how we connect with each other. So, you know, if you can be vulnerable and open with people, then they'll be the same with you. And that's how we build our communities.
Yeah, definitely. So with the podcast, where do you sort of see things going now? I also, the other thing I love about it is that sometimes there's a guest, sometimes there isn't. Like, you're not following like a strict kind of a format. You're always surprising us with different topics, but I love that. I think that's one of the strengths of the podcast, except for the outro.
The outro.
I'm a huge fan of the outro.
I think we wanted the podcast
contest.
We wanted the podcast to be really reflective of what we were going through at the time, so it's pretty topical. We haven't recorded that far in advance. So like we actually do have a plan now for what we're going to do through the summer and everything, and into the fall, but still like pretty topical. I don't know. We just want to, just get the conversation out there and build some community. And, you know, we're billing ourselves as Canadian icons right now, soon to be global icons. So that's where we're headed.
Well, you are, because congratulations. I wish I had a noisemaker. You hit your 10th episode, so that automatically makes you both icons in my eyes.
Sweet.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. 10 feels big, right? We're only doing it. I know a lot of people have done more episodes because they're doing them weekly or daily. We're doing them bi-weekly to make sure that we're not overburdening and stressing ourselves, and also so that we're not forcing conversations. But like, it's still hard to do, and it takes a while to gain traction, and we haven't quit. And so 10's big. We're big on celebrating 10.
Yeah. And this is another thing I love. And I think every person who is an entrepreneur or, has whatever you're doing, when you're looking to other people, the big thing now is consistency. Be consistent, but figure out how you can be consistent. Like, just because some people have a podcast daily doesn't mean you can't have one every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks or whatever it is, right? Like, if that's what works for you and you're able to get the content out, people will look forward to it. It's almost like when, even with social media in general, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but there's so much discussion around, you should be posting 3 times a day on Facebook and posting twice a day on Instagram and da. And I kind of always relate this stuff back to what it would be like if we were in person. So if I'm posting 3 or 4 times a day, it's like me knocking on your door every 2 hours. Trina, Sarah, I got something really cool to show you. I got something really, and you'll be like, okay, Jesus, just get out of my face. But if I came by, 3 times a week with something really awesome, you'd be more intrigued, I think people need to be careful that they're not looking desperate out there. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, my social media strategy is just basically I love Instagram, and I try to post to my stories every day, but I'm trying to keep it more in tune with what I can manage, especially with 2 kids at home. And so I'm letting go of it needing to be perfect, and I'm looking at posting less often than I was before. I've actually taken a break from posting because it felt like too much and I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And I kind of feel like however often you do post, that it should always be kind of authentic and in line with where you're at. And yeah, I don't think there's a right or wrong number of times of day to post or how often in a week, just whatever works with you and your home life and your work life. And yeah, unless you can pay someone to do it for you and then, go nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Sarah? How are you managing with your social media for your business?
I'm not perfect. I'm like Trina. I if I don't have something to say, I don't want to post just for the sake of posting. I'm trying to make sure I have something to say and something of value to give. So it's a weird balance of, I'm trying even not to be on social media as much, but I'm still on it, engaging, because that's how I'm connecting with people. But I'm being a little more selective of my time, and because I caught myself doom scrolling a lot, and I had to take a break and get out of that doom scroll habit, because that wasn't going so well for me.
Yeah, we need to protect the brain.
Yeah, and I've been posting a lot more pictures of the dog, because I feel like right now we need more dogs. The dog just came home. We need more dogs. We need more flowers. We need more. I don't need to remind everyone every day that if they have a disagreement that they need me. I need them to be sort of their souls fed so they don't have disagreements in the first place. And to me, that's things like dogs and honest things. I don't know. Yeah. Or I just like seeing my dog. So I post it so that when it comes up, I see my dog and I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that, Sarah. I think that's so true. That is that advice that you give your clients? Like, I mean, I'm making assumptions here, but I can imagine sometimes, well, especially in a marriage, or when you're living in a house with family and all that, um, you're relying, well, you may not even realize you're doing it, but maybe relying on the people you live with to fulfill you in some way, to make you happy when you're feeling down and all of this, and to really learn how to do that on your own. Is that something you help people with? Like, there's joy all around, like pet your dog, do a craft, to help them, because I can see that being a big piece of being miserable, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't give them ways, but we do talk about, I have Marsha Mallow right there.
Oh yeah,
I'm
there
a
she
big
is.
believer. If we are afraid and stressed out and unhappy, we're on edge, right? So, but things like Evelyn poking her head in, that brings joy, right? If we're not sort of fulfilled and happy and taking care of ourselves, we're way shorter with the people that have frustrated or hurt us and made us angry, and we tend to escalate things. Whereas if so Marsha's up there because I talk about, we all inside have a soft, squishy inside that is what makes us human, and we all have it. Sometimes just thinking of the person you're mad at as being a marshmallow is enough to tone it down, the anger a bit. But if you're not fulfilled, you can't react well or respond well to negative situations if you're not happy. And so you've got to figure out ways to sort of fill your cup, and I like to say feed your marshmallows, so that you can respond better. And so it's a mix of trying to help people navigate that and also keep themselves fulfilled so that they're not short.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I love that. And that's so it's so important now with the pandemic and being with the same people all the time, and
and recognizing their cup's not full either. So give you a little grace because you're a little short, and give them that same grace back because their cup's not full either.
Yeah,
we're all like half cuppers
right now. Kind of like we were in Cuba. Our cups were never full there.
Never should a cup be full. It should always be being filled or being emptied. Never should it sit full.
That's right. So Trina, what's changed with your business? Like, have you seen big changes in the needs of what your clients want right now, or what sort of a...
I serve a lot of small business clients, and they're struggling right now. So I'm not as busy as I normally am. So that's a big change. They're a lot more budget conscious. And so they're wanting images that are able to really work hard and do more than one thing. So that's it. I've been working on Clio and Fox, which is all online. So that's been really nice to offer people, and also doing product photography remotely. So I don't need to have clients on set. We can send them pictures as we take them, and they can give me their input like they would in the studio, except we're doing it over email. So yeah, I mean, I miss working with people on set. I get a lot of joy from that collaborative approach, but if we can kind of do the next best thing, which is remote, then we do that, and it works great. So
that's great.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about, because everybody who's watching knows what stock photography is, but you do something that's quite different and unique. Can you tell us a little bit about your stock photography?
Yeah, so my stock photography is geared towards small businesses and how they use images. So I keep a pretty close eye on what all my biz buds are doing online with their stuff, and so I create images around that so that they're easy to use with like really obvious places for their logos and headlines. And then I also keep the collection tight, so you're not like going through 100 images of the same coffee cup. And I also, it's 100 licenses available. So only 100 people can own an image, which is a nice way of keeping who uses it exclusive. So unlike the free stuff, you don't look like everybody else. It came about actually because about 2 years ago, I was scrolling through my Instagram around Canada Day, and I saw the same image twice in my feed, one after the other. And I was like, oh, I'd better let so-and-so know they posted twice. And it was two separate companies, completely unrelated, both using the exact same image. And so I was kind of like, okay, you know what? People need something better than this. So this is my way of bringing great photography to small business at a really affordable rate, but that they can still stand out and build their library with and keep it on brand. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so smart.
And it's so bright.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
So
I love it.
And beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always looking for new color combinations to use in the collections and keep things consistent and pretty for everyone to use. So
that's great. And you started that in 2020, right? Is that when you started doing this?
Yeah, it's fall of 2020.
Yeah. I remember your launch. That's so great. And I love the exclusivity of it because that is important to small business. You don't want to look like what everybody else is using. And
no, you don't.
Yeah. And great for you too, because you can, you're always practicing your creativity that way as well.
Yes.
And I don't know if but I feel like that's sort of like the theme of what's happened since 2020. I feel like I'm a practicer of everything. Like I'm writing now, I'm making like weekly jewelry design. Like everything is like, I got to get my head in this. I got to practice. Whereas before it wasn't so much of that. It was more like getting out there, meeting people, doing, but now I feel like a real master of a craft, which is a nice feeling.
Yeah. I guess I do the photography to avoid going out and talking to people. But it's kind of, it's a way for me to be doing photography always, not waiting for a project to come along. I can create my own projects and I really love planning and creating projects. So this is a great way for me to have an outlet for that.
Yeah.
I really want to see a sparkle project, but I want to see a Cleo Fox and Glam Jewels sparkle collection.
That would be fun.
We need to.
When this ends, the world needs that kind of sparkle.
Yes.
It's on. Do we have to wait till it's over?
No, we do not.
No.
I've got a studio now, so we can commercial photography is allowed. So if we have our masks on and the windows open, then we can shoot together.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so fun. Okay, I'm in. So now I wanted to ask you guys as well, and I apologize because as I said, I'm a couple episodes behind on the podcast, but it's interesting what you were just saying, Trina. You were talking about how the small businesses are, suffering financially. So as a result, you've had to, I don't want to say pivot, but here it comes, coming right out of my mouth. Word we all hate now. You've had to pivot. And maybe for you as well, Sarah, like it's just people are a little more tight on the purse strings. Do you think that this could be a good topic for your podcast to talk about, essentially what both of you are doing, and that is reinventing yourself in different ways? And, Trina, with the stock photography, like you're creating something to offer without waiting for somebody else to ask you for it. Like how can that translate for other people? It'd be interesting to see, like, no matter what kind of business you're in, how can you now create things instead of waiting for the customer to ask for it?
I can have you on as a guest.
Okay, let's do it.
That's a great
I'm trying
subject
to wiggle
because
my way back on to the show.
I feel like entrepreneurs are natural innovators. So, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're always thinking of new ways to do things. And I love that energy of creation with them. So that would be a fun episode.
Yeah.
Make a note, Sarah, put it in our calendar.
No, I already did.
That's great. So from the guests you have had on so far, are there any takeaways that you can share? I mean, we want everybody to go on and listen to the podcast for themselves, but are there any things that you guys sort of want to put out there that other people have said, or maybe it's even something between the two of you that came to light that,
This feels like a Trina gotcha question.
I guess what stands out most to me is we had our dad on. He's still a working journalist because he refuses to retire even into his 70s because he's so passionate about news. And we had him on to sort of give people advice for how to do exactly this and podcast. Mm-hmm. And we titled the episode "Don't Be Boring," which is one of his favorite things to say. When it comes to giving that advice. So don't be boring still sticks with me. Like I think of it when I'm writing content. I think about it when I'm had with you guys because you two aren't boring, but don't be boring. I think the big takeaway from me from no matter who the guest has been that all the guests we've had have been interesting because they've been authentic and they've been honest. And that's never boring. You can't be boring if you're being who you are. We're all incredibly interesting and weird in our own little ways. And just don't be boring. That's my big takeaway. And I'm lucky that we have yet to have a boring guest. I guess.
That's great. It's like people watching, but with your ears.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's great. So just so you know, this is so on trend of just being yourself. I mean, I'm joking, but just being yourself and not being boring. And, so I'll just, one of my number one favorite podcasts, of course, is Just Push Go. My number two favorite podcast is Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. And on that podcast, he interviews celebrity guests and, they talk about whatever but now he's started a new thing where he's actually interviewing his fans, which I love. And it's so cool because these people are so interesting. I mean, today he interviewed, what was it? Oh my God. He was a pastor from El Paso. He was a pastor from El Paso, and he was a pastor for like a non-denominational church, and he was just so much fun, and he teased Conan a little, but it was just like I'm starting to like listen to these interviews, and I kind of like them more than the celebrity ones because he's talking to regular people about life, and I think sometimes on a platform like this, for anyone who has a business, you get that wave of like, who the hell wants to hear what I have to say? Like, why am I even doing this? Or what?
Yeah,
self-doubt. But people do want to hear it. People's lives are fascinating, and when you think about it, we come into this world, there's only one of us. That's it. One of you, nobody else like you. And that's fascinating in itself. So I don't think there has to be, a title around you or, you don't need to be a celebrity. You just have to not be boring. Thank you, Jeff Turl. And, that's.
Anyone can be a Canadian icon. They just got to declare themselves.
Yeah, that's right. I know.
People are so interesting. We're all so interesting.
Yeah, we are. And it's funny how now that we can't see each other, we're finally really getting to know each other, right?
Yeah, it is. Because we're not waiting for time to see each other in person. It's so much faster and easier to connect.
Yeah.
Without having to go to a place to do it. So.
Yeah. Well, I love you both, and I love what you do for community. And I wish I brought it with me. I didn't, but I participated in one of your paint nights, which was so much fun. And I painted a little bird on branches with snow, and you were both so good at guiding everybody through the process and
making
us all feel.
that one was based on I think it was grade 7, a painting that we did in art class in grade 7. I still remember it to this day, and so I used that as my inspiration for that painting.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love it. You guys are amazing. You do so much for people just by being you. And we need more Trina and Sarah. We need more super sister synergy ladies out there.
Thanks.
In the world.
I feel the same about you, Monica.
Yeah.
You bring the sparkle you bring to the world is such a gift.
Aw, thanks, guys. Well, I'm so happy you just pushed. It's a tongue twister. I'm so happy you just pushed go. And you did your thing with the podcast and you're doing your thing with your businesses and it's awesome. So I want to invite you both to an Instagram after party, but unfortunately I can only have one of you at a time. So why don't we head over there? We'll start with Trina and then we'll finish up with Sarah. Does that sound good?
That sounds great. Thanks,
Okay.
Monica.
Awesome.
Thank amazing. You. Thank you.
We'll
Bye,
see you
Mom.
soon. Bye. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That was so much fun talking to those amazing sisters. And remember, if you need some new clothes for spring and you want to check out Brenda Badome, you just go to brendabadome.com, use the coupon code Get to Know Her. She's going to give you 21% off of your order. It's so generous. And have a great day. Keep showing the world your sparkle, and we'll see you back here next Tuesday. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe.